always dominates the other. And it's crazy that this is happening now here in Korea.
Yeah, on one hand, it's kind of sad to see them go up against each other here on this stage. On the other hand, it's kind of cool because I think other than the global finals, this is pretty much the biggest stage that they could potentially play each other. Obviously different than an online version of the Cup Hour and not a qualifier for WCS. This is a very big series, so, you know, Kelazhur, if you're ever going to win one, this is definitely the one to do.
All right, we're set. Let's do this. Game number 1, SpeCial versus Kelazhur in the GSL versus the world.
Nick, super pumped to be standing up here, commentating this match between these two fine international players coming into Korea. They've been training here, doing a lot of work, but first, in his lower left-hand side, wearing the blue color, it's a player that his mom calls
SpeCial.
SpeCial, yes.
Do they have a voice for that?
They do. I don't think it's coming in our feed, though.
Sick.
Now, his opponent here in the upper right in the red, the underdog. Let's see how he does in this best of 5. He is
Root Gaming, Kelazhur.
Definitely his voice.
By the way, we got some Tom Proxery.
Tom Proxery.
That's right. No Tom Fuller.
Old Uncle Tom Proxery.
Uh-oh.
Is he going to get scouted?
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is a big deal. It's double barracks. That is the 2 SCVs there. There's nobody to bail him out. This is already a nice little move here for SpeCial. If you look behind this, he can add the second barracks if he wants. He's not doing it just yet. I think he might be fairly confident that he's throwing enough of a wrench in this that perhaps he'll bail out of it. Still no second barracks. I guess he can defend with just 1. Oh, God, that has to be so low.
Okay, it barely finishes. I don't know if this other barracks can get up yet.
Not for a while.
But of course, you know, when this happens, the wind's already been taken out of the sails as far as the build goes. It's not even at that point in time whether or not the barracks is finished, but can you do any damage with this? Already this is looking very bad for Kelazhur.
It is. He's even going to bring in a 3rd SCV to finish this. He needs all the help they can get, but the timing of this has been dislodged. Even just the fact that it was supposed to be a bit of a secretive build has been disrupted here, as you're saying, Tasteless. And that's all kinds of problems. So Kelazhur, what is going to be your fallback plan? It's got double gas back at home. We're not seeing any kind of, there should be like a safety factory back at home or something like that. I like, you know what, well, I want to throw it to you. What do you think about SpeCial's response here? It's very just like, 1 barracks, I'm going to be ahead macro-wise.
I think, you know, for a player like SpeCial, this should be easy street, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, you know you've slowed him down, okay? All you got to do is respond to everything and keep macroing, and you're basically going to be ahead. The Reaper's backing up now. Obviously, it can heal up, but at the rate Marines are coming out here, I don't believe he can be matched. Oh, hold up. Look at that. Starport, now that's an interesting response.
Now listen, if we had Tom Proxy at the beginning, what is that?
Oh, I don't know. What is that?
That's like Billy Proxy or something.
Billy Proxy, something like that.
His dirty,
I'll say Tom
his dirty
Proxery.
weird cousin. Tom Proxery.
Tom Proxery.
It's going to get a little bit weird here. But, you know, we were talking about the response for SpeCial. He's just very confident. This 1 barracks, now a Hellion coming out to join. There still is going to be these Reapers coming off. If you look at the production tab, there's a few more trickling out there. So Kelazhur maybe hoping that, like, despite it being scouted, he's going to keep being weird to maybe try and kind of jump over SpeCial's prediction there. But it's not working out so far. Now, with this proxy, it is Liberator right off the bat.
This is going to be problematic because, as we know, these nades are actually pretty sick, by the way.
God,
they're doing way more damage than I thought. But, of course, with the barracks making Reapers right now, there aren't any Marines, not even in the base, but just in general in the game. So the Liberator is going to be very tough to handle. Now, there is a Cyclone being made here, but I don't know if it's going to be able to get out there in time. There will definitely be a window where a lot of damage can be done here.
Well, I love Kelazhur scouting here because some kind of bell or something's got to be ticking off in his head where this does not look normal. The factory has no add-on. There's no CC being started. There's no tech in here. If a player is deserving of this kind of stage, if you will, something has got to be letting him know that there's something going on outside of the base.
Okay, here comes that Liberator now, but the Cyclone gets out just in
Oh,
time.
yo!
Oh!
You got to turn it on, man!
Shoot this down right now!
Hit the missiles! Even if he does right now, Tasteless, it doesn't have the highest DPS, so just the losses are bad. It's been 6 SCVs, but also the missed mine time. Look how painfully long it takes to kill it.
Yeah, this is very true. That's a lot of lost money, and actually losing to 6 SCVs, I don't mean to be too hard on Kelazhur.
Oh, he stopped!
He could have.
What are you doing?
Wow. All right, here we go.
Tasteless, I ate 6 hot dogs in the time it took for that battle to basically ensue.
And we know that you eat hot dogs very slowly. So
I eat them incredibly slowly.
It's incredible. Actually, it is incredible, though, seriously, how long that actually took.
Yes.
Not a situation we could get to cast in a normal TvT
We could have
really
switched
ever.
to a Here's the Storm match.
I could
that
have.
real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly.
We would have had to pick up the pace, but we could have finished it.
We could have gotten through it. By the way, the Reaper doing a little bit more damage than I thought, actually denying that the command center from finishing, and now coming in here. This is at least some way that Kelazhur can try to come back and try to even this out, but with the Citizen's Arrest on the Reaper, that will end.
Okay, a little bit of a push here coming out from SpeCial. He's going to jump this ramp. He's got the 2 Cyclones, but also the Marines and the linebacker that is the SCV as well as the medevac. He's going to push up here. And frankly, this might be it. Kelazhur, you had your build scouted from the very beginning. You've been outmaneuvered. It might be time to tap out. It could be a long best of 5. Right now, SpeCial is all over him. The repair is not going to do it. Here comes a Raven.
Yeah.
I don't know what world you're being born into. It's not much. A little bit of a fancy pickup. And maybe if this gets held off, Nick, it's just not going to be good, man.
No, you know, I've said this in other casts, but you know, sometimes you watch a match and it's like 2 Titans duking it out. In other matches, it's like a lion eating a gazelle. And in this case, this is a lion eating a gazelle here. So, we'll see if Kelazhur can stay in the game. But I mean, as far as how he can try to recuperate and get into a good position, 25 supply to 54, I don't see it, man.
It's really hard. I mean, in TvT, they're both working with the same tools, so the comeback potential has to be something very surprising. We've kind of exited out of that proxy stage. You know, like a cloaked Banshee showing up, something like that, that'd be really cool, but it's been scouted. The Raven's been spotted. The timing isn't there. SpeCial, through his aggression, is able to kind of see what is possible and what is not. He's going to expand to that low ground. He's already going to build on that advantage. A very wise scholar of StarCraft 2 talked about what you do when you get ahead, and you just get more ahead.
I believe I've heard that. That was a great quote by Day 9. I'm gonna say.
Is it Day Nizzle that did that one?
No, it was actually Artosis, but he's just Sarah. So
I get them confused.
Yeah, I know. It's uncanny how similar they are. Yeah, Artosis 9. It's Day 9. It's potato there. So we have the push coming up here. This may be the back-breaking move. He's trying to kite this further backwards. Each Cyclone is getting targeted down. Not bad controller by Kelazhur, but this is really a game of math and not a game of control.
No tools
anymore.
GG. If you ever needed an idea of when one parent is ahead of the other in a matchup, it's when they fight the auto turret. When they're just like, no, I'm actually going to engage in that auto turret. That's when they're so far ahead that the game is pretty much concluded. That man right there, cracking his knuckles, looking good. He scouts the proxy, makes the right choices. I like his own proxy as a response. If you're going to build up a bunch of Reapers outside of your base, the Liberator's going to be very strong. And this guy right here, I mean, you could even... The interviewer's like, yo, dude, talk some smack. He's like, hey, man, it's in your favor, but I'm going to do my best to overcome it. It's like, wow, that was what you got. So, mind game's already not looking good for him.
Yeah, well, of course, also, if you start out a best of 5 and you do a proxy like that, and it's scouted, and it's shut down, that is a pretty big morale blow. So let's see if he can pull it together in game number 2 on Ascension to IR. I don't believe Kelazhur will do another proxy, but you know, you got to try to mix it up on some level. Maybe he'll do it because that's the least predictable thing to do. But SpeCial, I think he just follows the rules. You know, goes via basic TvT playbook, and he should come out on top. I will admit I am rooting for Kelazhur here. So yeah, good luck, Kelazhur. It's going to be tough. Your nemesis SpeCial. You're up against him in game number 2. Let's do this.
The silver lining for Kelazhur is that he started off with the cheese, like you said, in that game number 1. So maybe, even though it got pushed down, the mind tricks could kind of favor him in the best of 5.
Certainly the case. Here in the bottom right, in the blue, formerly known as Major, he is...
SpeCial.
And so are you at home. Oh, each and every one of you.
All of them.
All of them.
I don't care what you've done. You've microwaved a cat or something like that, you're still special. We love you. His opponent, needing your guys' support. A name that rhymes with laser. It is.
A laser.
Root Gaming, Kelazhur.
You saved me.
You're
a really good co-commentator. You know, a lot of people think that Artosis is like a pretty good commentator, but with your support, you make him an excellent commentator.
Basically, Artosis is the warrior, and then I'm the cleric that blesses his sword to kill the cast.
That's
I'm
exactly right.
purely a support role here.
And you put that in terms that I could understand.
And Rotterdam is a red mage, so he's kind of good at everything. And
Rotterdam's like a rogue. Like, you don't
he's
expect
like
it, but he hits you at a distance with some knowledge, and you're like, where did that come from? And you see his like weird gait and smile and accent. You're like, him? And you're like, yeah, that's that guy.
Like, are you sure he's ever played StarCraft before? It's like, yeah, actually he has. I'm being serious. He doesn't look like it. Thanks for coming down, buddy. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Can't believe Jesus is in the audience like that.
I know. Well, everybody loves StarCraft.
You have to.
I got to say, I am afraid this is going to be a 3-0. I'm rooting for it not to be, but I have to be honest.
It won't. I've peered into the future.
Oh, so you're a time traveler.
It's 3-1.
That's actually, man, if I was a time traveler, you know what I do? I just go back right to the start. Either
Of
StarCraft
what?
1 or StarCraft 2. It'd be
Really?
so good, yeah.
You can travel all through time and you just go back to the beginning of StarCraft?
Yeah, man. Like, let's go see the dinosaurs. I'm like, no, you go see the dinosaurs. I'm going to go. Don't do anything too crazy back there so you don't end up stopping StarCraft from being made. That could be dangerous.
I'd go back to like adolescent Mike Morheim. We're talking like 13 years old.
Yeah.
Befriend him, and then like never stop being best friends with him all through him creating StarCraft. And then I would have my name put in one of the critters like you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
Taste-o-lope or whatever it's
That's
called.
the Taste-o-lope, yeah.
Like a Jeff-a-lope out there.
The Toast-a-lope or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. Yeah, Taste-o-lope. Oh, my God. Good engage. Once again, in a one-on-one duel right there, SpeCial comes out on top again.
Yeah, his one Reaper literally dual-wielded pistols. It killed an SCV and another Reaper, which is a bit ridiculous. Not the biggest of deals, though. We're not going to paint this as like, oh, my God, Kelazhur, you're falling apart. He's out of here. If you look at the production tab and all the numbers down there, very similar. Army supply down by 1. Workers are dead even. So it's more of a like feel me out. The nice thing about the Reaper situation is if you can get on top of that, you can pair that with a Hellion and start to actually push up a ramp or really get some good scouting done.
You know, I think it's more symbolic than it is an impact.
Just
on
things
the
aren't going
actual,
right.
Yeah, it's like your proxy's spotted in game 1, and that's shut down pretty handily. And then in game 2, oh my God, Reaper versus Reaper, I lost that.
You're right.
It's an omen, if anything.
It's actually a real thing. I mean, I know sometimes people accuse commentators of like making the biggest deals of some things. I would not talk about this as like Kelazhur's just he's melting in the booth right now, but it definitely starts to amount to something. If everything you do is getting countered, if you're getting out microed, game number 1 you tried not quite an all-in, but definitely a leveraged build close to an all-in, and that gets just put down hard.
And on a simpler note, it's just things do not seem to be working whatever you're trying. So we had Kelazhur try to do a scout in there. That did eventually get taken out. We have the two Cyclones and the Banshee now coming up here. We're going to see if he will try to poke in to the natural here. And whether oh, wow. Okay. Well,
and that Reaper doesn't matter anymore, by the way. It doesn't contribute to the fight. So the fact that it scouts mid-map that Banshee that is just occupying that space.
Yeah, I was about to ask if he was going to try to split these up, but now it seems like there's just no element of surprise here. That's nice, though, taking out the Viking. The Viking is a direct response, or not response, a direct counter to the Banshee coming out here.
He's softening the anti-air force. Those Marines are taking some damage here. Hellion's going to join in and do what it can. The Banshee's been a bit empowered, though. Keep in mind those Cyclones do not have the best anti-air. Both the Cyclones so low in health. I'm actually surprised he's pushing forward here.
Yeah,
they're kind of one-shotters right now.
Yeah, well, if the Cyclones had a little bit more HP, it might be possible to pair them with the Banshee and go in there. But yeah, in this situation, I'd say definitely not. You're going to have to pull out. He's going to try to come here into the main. I think this might be a little bit too late. Even though we see units being traded, the whole point of those units that were traded earlier was to thin out the anti-air so then the Banshee could kill some SCVs, and only 3 go down.
He was actually repairing the wounded SCVs, really delaying the effectiveness of that single Banshee. I was a bit surprised it dived on the mineral line. It has some utility beyond this. Like, it did some good scouting there, saw the tech paths. Yeah. It can do some harass, but coming back and forth actually has some strength to it. Because, again, Cyclones, not the best anti-air, so they don't, like, see it and kill it. They have to kind of swat at it over a course of time, and it gave him that time.
Yeah, in fact, the Cyclone in some ways is barely even a deterrent or something like that. You could still get in there and
it's like a strongly worded, please don't.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
stop that.
For reals.
And then it just goes on.
Yeah, and it just does it. He takes your lunch money and you have to leave the game. So moving out here is SpeCial. I think he's basically stabilized from the harass. Yes. He's in very good shape, I'd say. It may be a mistake here for Kelazhur to try to move out. He will end up crashing into this army that is superior here for SpeCial, and I think this may get worse. With the Raven coming in here possibly for an auto turret, I don't know if he's going to put it now or wait until a later moment when it would be more advantageous.
He's at least threatening it. This natural is now under attack, and there is that advantageous auto turret going down. A bit of a move command, so kind of a miscue there. The fight at the natural, by the way, is going to be a bit of a trade-up, but some SCVs already killed, and inside the main, it looks, a second auto turret does go down, and that second one is going to be the one that Kelazhur is going to dread. He had the Marines, he kind of traded them out for that first auto turret, but then he has nothing for the second one, so at least a missed mining here.
Oh, wow, look at this. And he had a second Raven come in here. Now it's 4 total kills for the time being. And there's no real answer just for right now for Kelazhur. So these Ravens can basically orbit around these 2 bases, and whenever they have the energy, chuck an auto turret in there. And in a moment like this is basically the most ideal exchange you could ever have in RTS, is when you're trading energy to kill their units, their whatever, but in this case it'd be workers, which is even in some ways more impactful.
A much maligned free units argument that kind of gets made there. You're exactly right. But this is looking bad. Kelazhur was doing okay, but just the execution of that attack for Special gives him that faster third, gives him a worker lead. Not a mega significant one, but a good enough one that when you're ahead, it just hurts that much worse. And he is getting scouts off, by the way, with this harass as well. Keep in mind that that is kind of the almost unspoken strength of harassing, is if you are harassing a mineral line, you are seeing tech paths, you are seeing saturation points.
Well said. You know, and another thing to keep in mind here is just one feature about, I can't believe that actually got taken out. One feature about the auto turret is that you basically never want to engage it as a general rule.
Its DPS is so high.
Its DPS is so high, and it also isn't there for that long. So
Right.
in a perfect game, we usually see players grab the workers and then run away and then try to time it out so they can transfer them back over there once the auto turrets expired, because we even saw with the siege tanks actually in range of the auto turrets, the turret's half-life is almost expired anyways before it's actually killed off.
Give you guys an idea of how bad this is for Kelazhur. Because I mean, if you look at the supply and stuff like that, he's not that far behind, but it's Special pushing out with that third grounded and being saturated behind this, and he's pushing out with a significantly scary push. Good for Kelazhur that he does see that, so he can hold this high ground. He really needs to establish that third and get it saturated. This is not the... We're not at the point of no return, guys. If you're watching this game, Kelazhur's behind for sure. But a couple of good pushes, a couple of good, stronger angles, intercepting some forces, some Stim Marines catching some medevacs, and he can get right back into this game.
I'm really glad you pointed that out, Jeff, because you're completely right. The fact of the matter is this game is not, there's one player slightly ahead, but it's not something that's, it could be reversed very easily here. Some more auto turrets are coming down here now. This will, of course, once again, drive out the SCVs.
There you go.
Kelazhur is pushing out, and by the way, his Stim is done. We don't quite have Stim done yet for Special, so if there is an engagement in the middle of the map, someone with Stim almost always wins, basically no matter what. Stim Marines are just too strong. But Special is slowly and steadily getting a Stim of his own, so that window of opportunity may expire here for Kelazhur.
We'll have to see if it does get jumped on. Those windows do kind of, we have the caster vision, so to speak, so we can kind of see how pivotal that is. These guys are operating off of instinct and some limited information. Those Ravens can make their way in here again. They've been so annoying, and this is a nice harass here from Special. You really want to see some Vikings or something like that from Kelazhur. Oh, he's walking to those tanks, taking so much damage.
Huge amount of casualties there.
And, it's easy for us to look at that and be like, wow, what a silly mistake, but he's making that mistake because he's worried and dealing with the auto turrets back at home from Special.
Right.
So Special is just on point. The game looked like it was in reach. It was like a 10 supply difference. It's now 30 or 40. It's becoming big.
You know, it's funny because a lot of times we talk in these abstract strategic terms like, okay, his harass is good. He's really doing a good job positioning his army and here or there. A lot of this can also just be stated as his screen's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
He's not able to follow this, and that's what happens when you are harassing.
Yep.
You're not omniscient, right? In a game of StarCraft 2. So if you can draw their screen away somewhere and then come in there and hit them somewhere else, that's a lot of times the easiest way to just get ahead.
Speaking of the double tasteless, we had that push coming up here. It's advantageous. There are some Marines in position, even a tank siege ready to go, but some of the damage from this low ground is being dealt. Already some reactors going down. The barracks are being attacked. This is the production spot. This is like the soft underbelly that should lose. That's going to be it. But some Marines going to stim in here into this third base, which is now uncovered. He's just going to abandon it. It's a really bad sign because he has not dealt with the push inside the maze. He's got to go for it. He's feeling desperate. He jumps forward in range of that tank. There's no harass coming in. That's it.
GG.
Special's going to get game number 2.
We've had two different games that started out in a very different setting. One with a proxy completely scouted denied. Another that was a more standard PvP, one that wasn't able to blossom into a full-on PvP late game because SpeCial had an answer for every move, every plan that Kelazhur made back there. And I got to say, for Kelazhur to come back 3-0 here would be, I think, the hardest thing he's had to do in his whole career.
It'd be tough. He's done it before. We've seen it at some of these WCS events where he's fallen way behind. It's looked really bad. It's been very one-sided like that, and he's been able to do it. So he's definitely got the fire. He's got the gusto in his belly to be able to weather through that. I think the disadvantage here, and I think part of the reason why that's not a safe bet, is there definitely is some kind of mental smothering coming out. Like these guys, it can't be said enough, they play in Copa America. They play in the same region, and it's the same old story where it's constantly SpeCial, number one, Kelazhur admirably coming in top 2 or 3, and some Chams in there, some Cass at the pass. But for right now, in that region, it is SpeCial. He's the guy that's been in Korea the longest. He actually sent himself to a couple of Korean teams to keep him a few years ago in StarCraft 2 and really put in the work. His linchpin's always been that he doesn't travel well, but he's kind of gotten over that hump. He's looking good now, Nick.
Let's see what happens on the map Whirlwind. I am not sure if there's one thing I could say that Kelazhur had to do better here. I feel like in some ways SpeCial is bigger, faster, stronger as a Terran player than Kelazhur. And by the way, guys, you know, SpeCial's been around in RTS for a long time. This guy was a fantastic Brood War player, a Terran player. Yeah.
Went to Mexico and played against him.
Oh, did you? I did not know. Did you?
I beat him that time. Well, that's of course why I'm telling the story.
My man.
Come on.
My man.
Would I tell the story if I lost that one?
Of course. Yeah, good call there. Let's go to game number 3, SpeCial versus Kelazhur.
Here we are, guys. You might have seen this map before. It's one of the best. It's an older map. We like to play it here in Korea. In the top left-hand side, dominating so far and looking to perhaps make a dent in this GSL versus the world. It's a player known as
SpeCial.
In the upper right, in the red, he needs to turn this around. It may be the hardest thing he's ever encountered in his esports career. He is
Root Gaming, Kelazhur.
I'll tell you what, Tasteless, we had what I felt like was the marquee matchup with Stats versus Hero. Ended up being very one-sided. Stats demolishes Hero.
We were quite caught off guard by that.
The games weren't even good, to be honest.
It was savage by Stats. It was like he had downloaded Hero entirely.
That best game was game number 3, where Stats like fell behind, and then it felt like for no reason at all of a sudden he was just also way ahead. There was no like cataclysmic, like I guess there was the Immortal drop that didn't go super well, but oftentimes with how far ahead Hero was, that's not usually what you look at and go, well, yeah, he's dead. Because he like defended the drop and then had an army fight with Archons and Charge Lots, and the Archons and Charge Lots were more than what Hero had out there. Anyways, if you guys missed that series, no big deal. No big deal. You're going to see better StarCraft in the days to come. Day 2 has some great matchups. And who knows? Maybe Kelazhur can turn this around, because that was kind of the point I was making, is the best part about this series so far has been how sharp and how good SpeCial has looked. Because sometimes, Tasteless, the hardest match you can play is the one where you're dominantly favored to win, because then it's all on you. You're like, well, I should win this, and the pressure becomes a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point where, you know, especially if there's no way you should lose this and then it actually happens, oh my God, that's a real blow to your whole view on reality. I think we'll look in this game for a few tells here on how Kelazhur's playing this out overall. Already SpeCial, very deceptive, tactically hiding the SCV in the bush to send it in later on. Also spotting that Reaper that's now headed over here to the upper left.
Just everything he does. Every time you click, you have a spot of SpeCial screen. You were talking about that last game. It seems to be that he is constantly looking at the right place and controlling it very well. So, you know, we asked the question, what does Kelazhur do to get back into this? I mean, if you would have asked me before game number 2, I would have said, go to your bread and butter, go to what you're good at, and then just play like a straight-up macro game. And I feel like that's what he did in game number 2. He didn't try anything too terribly cute, and still that wasn't the answer. I'm going to give you that weird answer where in game number 3, you kind of just go back to that. Kelazhur's not that much worse of a player than SpeCial. They're very good players, and he can do it. He just needs to kind of get inside of his own head, not let SpeCial in there, and play his own rock-solid game.
I also think in some sense, if you can think of these two guys like two RPG characters, where one is just, like you get Kelazhur, he's level 50, and SpeCial's level 56, and all of his stats are just basically a little bit.
But you can roll that
better.
crit. Nick.
You can roll that crit, bro. That's right.
Roll that 20, bro.
You got to get that Emerald Dragon Sword. Okay, that's plus 20% chance to crit. Usually we call that a proxy build, but we don't know.
It's got flame type. It gets armor. Yeah, you got to do it.
It only makes you weak against lightning damage. So we'll see. We'll see this game. By the way, he's starting to do some damage on the CC. SpeCial's got to come out here and try to bully the Hellion Cyclone 2 Reapers back. It looks like he does not manage to get a kill on any one unit. Very nicely done there by Kelazhur.
Yeah, some good damage there, delaying that natural's effectiveness, which is good because he went for the Cloaked Banshee build, so his natural is going to be a little bit delayed. I think the slight tragedy there was he did not land any of the grenades. Good dodging by SpeCial, so that means that his force is not particularly softened up, but here we go. The Banshee's actually going to contribute to this fight. It's going to go ahead and join in, shooting some of those Marines as they chase forward. But the grenades landing of SpeCial, this is already turning out pretty poorly for Kelazhur. He's got a Viking chasing him down. He does have Cloak nearing completion, so he should be able to escape out of here.
You know, Jeff, I like the initial engage there. Excuse
Does
me,
he get it?
I think he will. I think he will just barely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I like the initial engage back there. I was surprised to see him actually move back in, not having done. Not having Cloak ready, it didn't seem like there was a plan. At that specific point in time, even though the Terran at the start, the blue Terran in this case special, does not quite have enough to defend and has to stay back and take some damage, they do get it later on. So the second engage didn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. It seemed like that was a foolhardy attempt to come in there and try to pull anything off.
You're not wrong, Tasteless. I think to kind of go back to our amazing analysis and bring it into D&D, he was hoping for that 20 there. He was hoping that there wasn't a Viking. Maybe he was going for a fast third CC, an early tank, something different. Even a second Cyclone would have been okay. But unfortunately for him, Special is just, he is that Psycho Manus literally inside of his controller, knowing exactly.
He needs to plug his keyboard into port 2.
You have to take it out.
Psycho Mantis is reading his mind right now.
He's in his mind right now. And
that's
like,
against tournament rules, by the way, using what is it when you read somebody's mind?
No,
that's not telepathy.
Telepathy.
Telepathy, right?
Yeah,
not,
I believe
not telekinesis?
I haven't had it in so long.
I haven't, I don't know. For
I
this
had it when I was like a
RPG
6-year-old.
story, we're warrior class characters for sure. So we're not very
shield
good
sword
at
for me,
magic.
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at this. He's going to pull in there with the Banshee inside the main here, and the entire army's there. Now, this might free up some space for this push right here, and that is a surprising force. It's 4 Cyclones, some Marines, and a Raven of his own. He shows up. The missile turret is not in range. He's got to pull over some anti-air, and even a single Viking's not going to do much because he can either just straight up escape or he can delay, but he pulls a lot of forces in here.
Seems like
the army does get spotted. He loses 1 Cyclone here, and now he's actually chasing the Marines and harrying them. He's going to have to back up now. He's just going to lose that. He wins some space here. Auto turret does go down.
Wow. Great auto turret right there to help push in. This game has really been death by 1,000 cuts. You can see he's beginning to push in here. Is he going to be able to actually hold this off? I think he's going to have to land the Vikings, and then that might be able to turn.
Yeah,
the
Vikings
tide
are
here.
turn the fight.
God,
it's the tank towel. That's 1. Get out of here.
You know, one important thing about TvT is if you can just keep killing off their tanks over and over, because you're not making tanks at the same rate you're making Marines, right? If you can take that down, you usually have a little bit more push potential. So that was one good save there for Kelazhur for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kelazhur was hoping to do more damage with that. Special able to endure it. If you look at that supply again, he's ahead. One of the things Taste has touched on is landing Vikings. I mean, it used to be kind of a joke, but actually these days, Vikings are damage dealers, man. They're going to come in here. They've got the Raven control. It's a single tank. Oh, the tank's not an answer. In fact, he can get picked off if he's got the gusto to do it.
He needs these Marines up here. It looks okay. That's not a thing.
What?
But he did take out that 1 Viking. First big misplay I guess we've seen here from Special.
That Viking was the one from the cinematic cut. It's like, is that an Ultralist? I'm going down.
I'm going down, boys.
And he went down like the one. Yeah. I mean, it looks cool, but it died pathetically. I mean, not a big deal. Special is still fine here. But Kelazhur's going to push out, and it's a good thing that he is, at least for that single Marine. Yes, nice move by him. He gets hit by the tanks. He says, oh, okay, you're pushing me. You want to free up space. You cannot be sieged. You cannot be hitting your mineral lines. So in order to do that, you got to be in the right position, Casey.
Absolutely in control. We see these siege tanks now sieging up over here. Kelazhur trying to push out and get siege tanks outside of the entry point of his base so he can have some semblance of control. You do not want to get boxed into Terran versus Terran. You can usually get choked out with all your limited options. If you do not...
Scan the wrong target.
Yep. Well, he's going to be able to get this tank. Oh, my God!
Yeah, they were... Dude, that's
the
body blocking. Actually, a little bit of weird auto turret there. He's going for the snipe. He actually gets the wounded tank. So not that weird. He loses a couple of Vikings, but one of the things I was going to point out here, Special has air dominance. He's got only 2 Vikings, but if you have none of your own, they can start chipping with the medevacs. They can spot for the tanks, so a very strong position for Special here.
Yes, absolutely. Special is trying to close in and suck out all the oxygen from Kelazhur's game. If Special could just move this army a little bit more to the south and to the right, he can cut off circulation from that base in the center right. But as I'm saying that, we're seeing a massive drop as Kelazhur is trying to turn this game on its head, punishing the fact that Special has been pushing so hard. Let's see if Special's ready.
Special spotted that or instinctually knew it was coming. I didn't see exactly which it was. I feel like he scanned and got the tail end of that or something because he actually pulled back his force immediately. Just the 2 Vikings and the Raven enough to deter that the 3 medevac drop. But it was actually a cool move from Kelazhur. If you're being pressured, one of the last things you think is, I'm going to load up my whole army and go for a counterattack. But precisely because that's not what you would think, that all of a sudden becomes a very good move. But Special, again, 1 step ahead.
Yep, SpeCial very quickly backed off and is now reassembling, it looks like, to push back in here. Now, similar to the last game, around when we were at this phase of the game, we said, look, SpeCial seems to be slightly ahead, but it's not like Kelazhur is losing badly.
This is his best game so far.
These are definitely recoupable positions here for Kelazhur. He needs to have one big fight where he could win, and I'm not sure if SpeCial will let him have it. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we did see a Liberator making its way towards the main, so that could actually cause some problems if there's not anti-air built in there. A lot of times it's a single missile turret, but turret's a poor defense against a Liberator, and you can see SCV is dying on screen actually behind this. So the harass is coming in, and the lead is widening in favor of SpeCial, who has tanks in position. It looks like that Liberator did do that damage. We also had an auto turret. Maybe it was the auto turret that did
I think it was actually the auto turret that came down there. And he has the mana to actually do that again if he so desires.
There's the
no, there it is. You know what? We're both right. In fact, we'll never know.
Right.
We'll never know
No,
the answer. Okay,
I
this is gonna
believe
go.
in you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take this cast on faith, guys. That's the way it works. Okay.
Oh, the scan just whiffs on the army, but I
Wow.
think he knows it's there. He had to have sent a Marine up there.
Well,
Something.
everything is going perfectly around this. Okay, now seeing the one Marine, maybe a tell. I'm not sure.
A little bit of protection for that auto turret with that Liberator. He's going to stim and try to get it forward, but it's the Liberator dealing a lot of damage. He actually unsieges it and pulls back. That army of Kelazhur just hanging out there, and one of the things Tasteless kind of talked about too is that this is not an unwinnable game for Kelazhur. He is in the ballpark in terms of army. I love that he's got this bit of a guillotine hanging out there. If SpeCial gets out of position for 1 second, all of a sudden here comes the hammer blow, but SpeCial's just not giving it to him. This guy's comfortable on the stage. He wants to win. He wants to do really well. He's breathed down the neck of a WCS championship, and here he is at GSL versus the world, and looking strong.
Absolutely. We see SpeCial came in here, mowed down just a few of those Marines, did not quite overextend. Kelazhur's backing up. He's trying to reconfigure his army to get in a position, as you were saying, in control, to get some kind of a guillotine set up. We saw some of that earlier. But one thing about really high-level TvT is we see the players constantly moving and reconfiguring their setup, trying to lay traps, trying to outposition each other in this game. And it seems like SpeCial is going to try to go for an engage here, but good move by Kelazhur. Gets his army in position, and SpeCial has to bounce right back off that base.
Finally, some of that harass starting to get shut down. We saw a Raven die on screen. As you pointed out, Tasteless, there's a nice giant Marine force stimming, looking to do some serious damage. I mean, that could be the difference between Kelazhur going out 0-3 and him fighting back a little bit. But so far, he's had the right responses. And while he was, pretty far behind supply-wise, as you notice as game goes on here, he's able to macro up. He's able to produce. They're both on free bases. And he needs to make a move here somewhere. He's from this position with only the one tank, I think it is. Not the strongest of a sieging point, but if he stims and runs in on a soft spot, he can do a lot of damage.
You can see now, Kelazhur is in a little bit of a dilemma here. He's not maxed out. SpeCial can try to initiate here. Oh my God, this angle's really good right here for SpeCial. Look at the splitting, absolutely perfect. Does not, however, get that one tank in the back, but after wiping that tank out, he then regroups, sets back up, and is going to continue to try to refill his army with tanks and Marines.
It's amazing the difference tanks make in those fights. Like, it was literally only 2 tanks, but A, SpeCial wanted to target fire them, so all his Marines' DPS is being funneled down to one target. But B, those tanks have splash damage, so all those Marines that are stimming all of a sudden become that much more susceptible to damage. So while I thought Kelazhur's positioning was way worse, the fact that he had the 2 tanks versus the none in that fight tipped it in his favor. And I thought that was really interesting for Kelazhur there. But supplies get a little bit close there. Kelazhur's going to need a couple more of those to edge his way back into this, but we have a mega Doom drop being loaded up here.
A drop of Doom.
Can Kelazhur, oh man, does he have anything to spot it?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he sees it.
No,
does he?
Oh, it's not clear.
They're going to collide. Oh,
he's
he
going
does.
for it.
He knows.
Oh!
It's drop versus drop.
Drop versus drop.
Who drops harder?
Okay.
Holy cow, this is so awkward.
All right.
I'd roll
it
down
kind
the
of
window
fizzles
and be
into
like,
nothing there.
I'd roll down the window and be like, dude, do it. I dare you. Drop it. He's going to do it.
This is called a come at me bro drop.
Yeah.
Right here. I actually kind of did. It did fizzle into like basically nothing there. But now we see immediately, whoa! Tables have been turned. Kelazhur completely turns around, drops while SpeCial appears to be preoccupied, at least for that point in time, with something else.
And he's just flying over Marines. He's actually losing a couple of medevacs. It ends up not being the biggest of losses. And where did the army go over here? We missed it, but some tanks splattered on top of them. They fought a little bit too long. And both players looking for purchase here with these drops.
TvT fights, it's funny, because even when you're maxed out, it's kind of the opposite of ZVZ, where ZVZ, when you maxed out, a battle takes a long time.
Yes.
And you slowly see it unfold. And at TvT, it has the exponential factor.
Oh, dude.
Once somebody gets ahead, it just ramps up and things spiral out of control very
TvT,
quickly.
like every building's on fire. There's like depots that are just blowing up right and left. You don't even know why.
Yeah.
Marines are accidentally walking into tank lines of 7 or 8 tanks and just getting splattered. I love the lethality of TvT because there's actually Terran players will complain about TvT. Like, everything dies too fast. I don't like it. It's like,
Well,
yeah, dude.
it's got to be frustrating. You could play a perfect game for the first, 15 minutes, and then suddenly it's like, bam!
Oh, there's a drop
You're
in my
out.
production. Okay.
He stimmed for you.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it can get rough. But here comes that drop on the left side. Kelazhur does assert himself with a slight supply advantage. Both players moving towards their fourth.
Whoa,
The
that
two
was
tanks on
bad.
the high ground there do a lot of damage. Kelazhur's feeling the burn from that.
I actually wasn't clear on how much was up there for special, but he might have scanned and seen that there was enough. I'm not totally clear. I thought initially he could have stimmed and just ran up there and taken it out. Kelazhur is doing a small drop over here to try to buy time. Maybe he should get some reactors or something like that.
Literally means nothing here, Nick. So it's more of a like, how much of a distraction does this actually become? If this can win any positioning at all, that's really nice. Single tank trying to lure out a reaction from Kelazhur is not going to get... I can't believe, man, the guts of these guys. He's like boosting to go drop on top of 20 Marines. It seems so scary to me. He ends up ultimately backing away.
You can see now all the medevacs grouped up. With Kelazhur, he's been itching to try to drop the main, or special, excuse me. He's been trying to drop the main here.
I know.
Kelazhur hasn't quite worked out. I think Kelazhur actually is starting to completely stabilize in this game. And
Well,
in some ways, he may be in the lead. They're
there
both
it is.
expanding pretty quickly. All right, here we finally go. The drop in the main.
He does drop on top, but here comes the counter drop on top. Kelazhur loses so many medevacs right off the bat, though. But he does jump on top of this, and this is going to be cleaned up, so to speak. But again, one of the kind of, you talked about this, but stuff just dies so fast in TvT. I'm like, wow, we cleaned it up. Then you look down there, and it's like, the supplies are about the same. Because it's just rebuilding back at home, and he lost stuff equally there as well. Well, to your point, though, I mean, if that attack goes, and like, let's say Kelazhur's more out mid-map, that does a lot of damage and kill both engineering bays without you even getting to blink.
It seems like after that drop was held up, some medevacs and tanks were gunned down. Kelazhur is interested in trying to push out, but even though that was held up by Kelazhur, the tank count is in fact way superior here for special. Something very important to take note of. So let's see if he can actually push in here and break this fourth.
This is so close to being a very scary spot. As you said, more tanks for special, but if that tank can get in a position where it's hitting the mineral line, I don't care if you have more tanks coming in on a close number of tanks, it's going to be very difficult. And there is that spot. It's hitting the planetary fortress, which is not the best of targets with just a single tank, because it won't kill it that fast.
You want to be hitting the workers ideally over the planetary, because at least for the one tank that's over there, you can repair that for the rest of the game and still be mining from it effectively. So I don't see Kelazhur reconfiguring his setup just yet. Meanwhile, oh wow, special with a big wing down there in the center middle. This will actually cut this army up here that we see here for Kelazhur away from any reinforcements for the time being if special pushes for any further forward.
Such an awkward positioning. The tanks over there are spotting, well now, okay, it looks like special's actually going to kind of divert his attention towards that third base, which is getting mined out. Not the best of targets. It has 3 barracks there, so there's a bit of a production spot there.
This is pretty big, though. This base is entirely exposed. SCVs are going to be gunned down, and I believe the command center should be taken out as well. Meanwhile, Kelazhur are trying to come through here right now to take out anything over here for special. I'm not clear if he has enough, though. One base annihilated. The lower right base is exposed. Special needs to get into a defensive position.
I mean, and he is. He's coming over here. He sees that this is the desperate move that it is. Oh, the Marines almost got on top of those medevacs as well. Kelazhur is going to load everything up. There's 2 medevacs that get preemptively dropped off over there, and 16 Marines at this stage can gun down medevacs very quickly. They have 3/3 upgrades.
You know, he's just ready for everything. He's just completely on top of his game. Again, special here, bigger, faster, stronger. I think we're seeing now the beginning of the end here.
Yeah, Kelazhur went for a desperate move. It got snuffed out, and as you said, countered really well. And this opened up stuff like this. Special's going to jump on top of that planetary. It is getting repaired, but there's so many Marines, and down goes the planetary. And with that, the 3rd base is dead. There's a 4th base behind this. He's going to try to jump on these Liberators, but there is a couple of tanks behind that. It looks like he might be able to get through here, but it's going to thin out the force. So anything that comes over here to respond should be more than enough. And that is a planetary there as well, so we'll hold for about 2 seconds.
Yep, looks like he did not repair that planetary from the initial engage back there. However, I feel like if you just zoom out here, it's supplies alone as well as who has functional bases. Special definitely in better shape. Kelazhur is basically starting over from scratch. And his expansion in the bottom right, that's going to be a matter of whether or not it's spotted, not whether or not he can hold it.
He can't even make anything. Here we go. Taste is going to jump up into the natural. There's nothing up above the ramp because his whole army outside of this is what he's got. And SpeCial has clamped down on top of the production line. Cal is just going to make one more desperate move, trying to boost up the left side and get a big Doom drop off. But that's it. That's his whole army. It's going to land here. And it's got the favorable force. SpeCial's going to back away, but that's it. That's all Kelazhur's got. The supplies tell the tale for me.
And if you look at the positioning here of SpeCial's army, completely over the production, whereas Kelazhur has controlled a corner of this.
Yeah.
And I believe SpeCial should still have enough to try to reinforce this area and eventually recuperate any losses he has.
Yep.
Already Kelazhur is ditching his main.
And the lower right has been scouted, by the way. We saw that like king on the mini-map, so even the secrecy of that base is not really existing at this point in time. Liberator's going to shove forward. They can't win the fight on their own, but they get the tanks done siege, and with that, here come the Stim Marines of SpeCial. He's going to clamp down on top. It's just going for the medevacs. He knows he doesn't have to win the fight outright. He just needs to do enough damage so that he can't really do much after that. And 48 supply to 130. SpeCial showed up and meant business. This guy wants to move on to the next round and really battle some of those Koreans for the title here.
There it is, GG. And saying good luck and the rest of the GSL versus the world. Another 3-0. I thought we saw Kelazhur steadily improve throughout each of those games. And the third game was easily the best between the two of them, but it's not a best of 7. There will be no game 4. Unfortunately, that's as far as he got, and I do wish Kelazhur good luck in the future. Congratulations to SpeCial, formerly known as Major. He did a